Okay, so today, guys, we have a video that we have promised for a long time and unfortunately have not been able to deliver on. But nevertheless, all that's behind us. We can go ahead and explore the T90 Laser 4 Firm Ground in the white total orange black colorway, and the T90 Laser 4 KL Firm Ground in the black metallic luster Tour Yellow colorway. They are brand new. Yes, I know they launched a couple weeks ago. Sorry we've taken this long, guys. But we've actually just been kind of testing them out. Beating them up a little bit, getting a feel for them, that sort of deal. So we didn't want to, jump out there and just start making conclusions about the shoe before anyone had even worn it. So we actually have an employee here who's been wearing them for the last couple weeks. And good news and bad news to report. Obviously, the two different kinds of uppers on these ones. This one, needless to say, Kanga Light. This one's synthetic. And if you guys read our stuff over on Soccer Reviews, you know what's going on with the future of both. And if you don't, you should read that. Because definitely some interesting developments going on in the world of the T90. But anyway, here's your carry bags for both. Obviously colored similarly to the shoes themselves. We'll start with the synthetic one. Definitely some pluses and some minuses. Biggest differences between the 3 and the 4, obviously the shot shield is considerably different than it used to be. There are still some tiny little fins right here on the upper, right on the instep there. You can see them for yourself. They're not as significant as the last make of them, but truthfully there's really not too terribly much difference between the two. Sock liner, very similar. Only real difference is that it's wider through the midfoot. The Laser 3s were not exactly, not what you'd call a narrow shoe, that's for sure. But nevertheless, the sock liner on these ones is remade a little bit. It's got a little bit more arch support, as you can see there. That's actually the idea behind that is so people with wide feet generally have weak arches, so as a result, you've got a little bit more arch, a little prop right there for it. As we all know, got your pour-on inserts all the way through the shoe. Very slim profile, so you're not sinking into them like you do on an Under Armour. That 4D foam has been a real pain in the butt for people. There's nothing as substantial as that on here. Different stud layout. Not wildly different, but definitely some adaptations. These are actually shallower studs than you'll see on the Laser 3s. Another big difference between the two, the Laser 4 does not have an Elite version at this point. Nobody wears an Elite version because it does not exist. Basically, Nike has taken the majority of the line in that direction. So, Tiempos are really the only ones that have an Elite per se, aside from the new Superflies, but Superflies will be gone soon. Everything will kind of be reverting back to the days before the Elite. Two horizontal studs right here are considerably different in that they actually provide a little channel through the forefoot here, as opposed to the other ones which kind of sat right in that channel. It's basically to increase forefoot flexion. It does do that. I can tell you that for definite. They are considerably more comfortable in the forefoot and the midfoot than they used to be. That is a definite. They are wider through the midfoot. They are narrower ever so slightly in the forefoot than the Laser 3s. Can be a good and a bad, I guess. But I would say largely good. And the only reason for that being simply because a lot of people actually had issues where they were just swimming in the forefoot on the Laser 3. So these ones, generally, they're certainly not what you'd call a tapered fit, but they are considerably more snug through the forefoot than the Laser 3s. So, good thing and a bad thing. Obviously, the wide foot thing suffers a little bit from that, and as we know, the T90 line is, or I should say, it's now called the T90 line. It used to be the Total 90 line, now it's the T90 line. Kind of a silly little change, but yeah, that line has been well known for a long time for being able to fit wide feet comfortably and that sort of thing, but it's actually built on the same last as the Maestri, so you're guaranteed comfort. There's no doubt about that. They are an extremely comfortable shoe. Really, that's the overlying principle associated with these shoes. They're very, very comfortable. They're also a good deal tougher than the Laser 3s. As you can see on here, there's really no seam on here that's going to cause you an issue. A better example of that would be on the Kanga Light ones. On the Kangaroo Laser 3s, we had issues with tearing on the instep, on the outside of the shoe, and then also we had issue with perforations in the midfoot, that sort of thing. There is no seam there like there was on the Laser 3. And when I say seam, I just mean there was a stretch of material. The leather comes up kind of through here under the shot shield, and it had a tendency to tear. This does not have that sort of issue. The instep right here, we've had no significant signs of wear on after a couple weeks of really pounding on them. Same with the outside of the shoe. They are basically the biggest difference between these shoes and their predecessors is that they're far more comfortable and they're far more durable. Two things, obviously, that everybody wants in a new boot. They do retail at $220, so they are a little bit more expensive, $20 up over the Laser 3s. Not what I would call a small price to pay. Obviously, $20 is significant, particularly when you're already shelling out $200 for a shoe. And truthfully, we're not really sure why they went up $20. There's not any new technological adaptations that are really make a huge difference. Now, basically, this shoe has been touted in years past as a what they call the most accurate strike, or whatever that's supposed to mean. There is nothing about any shoe really that makes it excessively more accurate than any other shoe. There are some cleats that have problems with accuracy, like scooping a ball or something like that, like on the V110s. And don't get me wrong, I didn't dislike the V110s. It's just that with that pointed toe, we had a lot of people skying a ball, into the cheap seats when they're trying to shoot from just outside the box. But these ones, it is a very clean striking surface. You can see it for yourself. It's the entire forefoot of the shoe is just built to strike a ball, and really it does do a great job of that. In the past, also, the T90 line has been known as a power line as well. It's not. There's really nothing about this shoe that makes your shot any more powerful than another. Predators actually do add some speed to your shot. The Lasers really don't have anything to recommend that, but I do think, just from what we've seen, players training in these things, that in truth, the strike on this ball is a very true one. It is, it's a solid striking surface. It's a good spot to kick a ball off of. But other than that, like we said before, biggest difference is $220 as opposed to $200. Improved sock liner, improved fit in the forefoot, much more comfortable, much more durable. Absolutely worth a look if you guys are into lasers. I wouldn't say they're the most highly recommended shoe ever, because frankly I'm not really sure what the most highly recommended shoe ever is. But nevertheless, it is one that if you've fallen in love with the T90 line in the past, this one's absolutely worth a look. So you can check them out. We're going to have them up on Gold Store very shortly. We've actually just been waiting for the remainder of our shipment to come in. And you can also certainly check out more about the shoe on Soccer Reviews, where we now write, which is cool. And we actually have another article upcoming soon about the King SL, so definitely check that out. That shoe we have a lot to say about. Also, stay tuned very shortly. We're going to have a lot of indoors to talk about. We're still waiting on our indoor-specific shoes from Nike, like the Elastico and the Bombas, but other than that, we've got indoor versions and turf versions of just about everything, so we'll be able to run them down for you very shortly. So stay tuned, guys, and thanks for watching, and don't forget to check us out on Soccer Reviews, too.